OPEC, in fact, has hinted that they will be boosting. So far, there was a trimming of production. They will be boosting supply going forward. How are you looking at that macro situation and crude impact on crude overall on the pricing as well?
Actually, it is basically not increasing, I will say. It is a partial restoration of what was cut down earlier. It was earlier cut down to a much larger extent. Now slowly every quarter or every few months they are bringing back those figures, and still they have not reached to where they were 3 years back or 4 years back. So it is basically restoration of whatever was earlier kept as capped. And that is what the hint that we got, or that is the sense that we got, that they are also trying to bring a stability to the whole oil market, which is in their favor also, because they also get a sense of what kind of revenues they are going to get in coming future or in the coming year for their budgeting. And it gives a good sense to us also, because we also understand where do we stand in terms of what amount of outgo will go in terms of billions of dollars that we will be going to spend as India or as Indian Oil in the coming year.
So what's the sense?
The sense is that today we are at, when we are talking today, we are at $68.5 to a barrel or something. The sense is that it is going to come down and it will be hovering around 65 somewhere. My sense it is more 60 to 65 range, it will be there. And this is because so much uncertainty is there in the world today, that some premium or some penalty, I'll say, is always there in the crude barrels because of this uncertainty. Because every day some new news is coming, some different news is coming, different view is coming, different set of statements are coming, and everything has to be factored it into dollars per barrel. So that's why it is at 68 or 69 today. But if everything is normal, if we go by normal supply chain, a supply demand kind of a scenario, it will certainly cool down and it will come to 65 or below 65.
So cool off, will it mean for retail consumers, will it mean a lower price in terms of retail petrol, diesel, etc.? Should that be something they should be looking out for?
I always say that whatever we earn, it is going into capex. Whatever we earn today, it either goes back to the government as dividend, 50% of it, or to the other stakeholders also, and the balance of it goes into the capex. And capex is today ultimately necessary for the company, for India to develop, for India to grow, and for India to meet its energy demands going forward. We have to do capex. If I don't do capex, tomorrow we will face a very severe problem. So this whole thing, and then we'll also have to build in a scenario wherein anything can happen, and tomorrow is another war starts. Because in last 3 years you have seen that 3, 4, 5 big wars have happened. Ukraine has happened, India-Pakistan has happened, Iran has happened, then Israel versus Hamas has happened. So there are so many things are happening all across the world. And everything again comes down to and puts its weight on the dollar per barrel. So we have crude dollar per barrel. So
considering the situation currently, and Minister has also spoken very candidly this afternoon on US hinting at secondary sanctions and tariffs on Russian oil importing countries, and India is one of them. He has been pretty candid, but what is his guidance and message to OMCs as to what should be the contingency plan if that happens at all in the future, and its impact overall on your margins and so on and so forth?
No, look, if the crude hovers at around this level, though it is not going to be, financially it is not going to be big whether Russian barrel comes or Russian barrel doesn't come. What Sir has said today, I was also there in that conference wherein Honorable Minister has given his statement, that whatever, it is not in our hands whether the secondary sanctions take place or not take place. That is not in our hands. We can only assess the situation, we can only prepare ourselves for the situation, and we can respond to the situation. So these are the three things which are there in our hand, and before responding we have our contingency plans. And the same thing was mentioned by Minister Sir also, that when Ukraine started or before Ukraine, we were importing only less than 1% of our crude basket was coming from Russia. So today if Russian barrels stop coming, then again we have a template which we can go back to, and that too in a much better position, because at that point of time we were importing crudes from only 27 odd countries. Today we are importing crude from 40 countries. So we are in a much better position, and we have a template to fall back with or without Russian crude.
So let me ask you this. Since 2022, and what comes to my mind is a leader of an oil marketing company in India, so many challenges, right? You outlined so many of those challenges, and every time the contingency plan, there is a template set, of course, within the CMDs of all of these companies. How do you tackle this, and is the blueprint the same for all of these geopolitical issues, or do you play it by the ear?
No, every time it is a new challenge. You have seen that last time, the latest one was when the state of Hormuz was at stake. And if the state of Hormuz is at stake, that has never happened in last 50, 60 years since oil has started flowing from the Middle East. So that was, and this time it was a much close to reality. Otherwise, it was never in question that it will go. So this was a different kind of a contingency, wherein we are getting LPG from there, we are getting crude oil from there, and the whole economy is surrounding it. But we had our contingency plans. We have friends in Middle East. They were very supportive of our cause, and even if anything would have, God forbid, if anything would have happened at Strait, we had our contingency plans in place, and we had some of our own strategic reserves also are there. We have the suppliers have their reserves in elsewhere in other locations also, and then there are other sources also which can very quickly jack up their crude. One thing I can very confidently say, that we will be totally abiding by whatever sanctions our government of India has agreed to put up by anybody, but agreed to government of India. If they are sanctions are honored, then those sanctions are to be honored in letter and spirit by Indian Oil also. And if Iran is sanctioned, to Iran is sanctioned. So there is no question about it. So
there are no other. So which other options would be on your speed dial if these sanctions come into play?
Russian sanctions, you mean? We can increase. We have quotas available in Middle East. We will increase from Middle East. We have Canada. We have US itself. We have Mexico. Gulf of Mexico is there. We have Brazil is there. We have Guyana is coming up, not to the total extent, but Guyana is there. We have n number of options which can come through. So it is not. I told you, before Ukraine, we were buying without Russian also. We were managing without any Russian crude. So if Russian crude dries up today, tomorrow for me, then also we have a template which we'll go back to, and we'll be in a much better placed position than compared to 2022. It's a better situation because we have number of sources are increasing right now, and there is enough crude in the market. That is what is reflected by the price of crude today. It is 65, 69, 68. So it reflects that supply demand is pretty much well balanced here right now.
You have said your expectation is that it will go down, in fact, the crude prices. But if it had to spike up, say 10 to 15% per barrel, what is the trigger point or stress that you would see on margins?
Anything beyond 70 or 75, it brings in stress to our balance sheet. And at that point of time, it is a zero-sum game then. Then we will have to look for variations, and then maybe we'll have to make some corrective changes also. But anything beyond 75 creates a stress for us.
Just one specific question on Venezuela. Have they signaled that they are ready to engage specifically with Indian OMCs? And are there any early stage talks ongoing for heavy crude supply once these legal barriers ease out?
No, there is no question of talks when the sanctions are in place. So there is no question of talks, but we are very confident. We have contacts. So if the sanctions go, then we will be very happy to take the Venezuelan crude or Iran crude or whatever crude is there. But only thing is, it has to be sanction proof. If it is sanction proof, then we are there.
On that note, the final question, LPG subsidy is something that you're going to be given by the Finance Ministry. In fact, has said that soon there will be, the payout will come through for the losses. One on that. And second, in terms of sourcing, Minister also spoke about LPG and other natural gas sources. How are we going to tune that for IOCL going forward?
Regarding the makeup of the losses, yes, we have also got the indication that soon we will be given compensation for our last year's negative, which was.
Any timeline on that?
It is going, like what indication I have got is pretty soon. I can tell you that. The other thing that you said, that LPG sourcing and LNG sourcing diversification, that is a constant effort, that is a constant effort that we are making, that for ensuring the energy security, I should have different sources of LNG and LPG. And in the process, yes, we are working out with we have already done some deals for LNG. GAIL has done some deals for LNG. We have done some deals for LNG basically, which are coming for Henry Hub based, and they are coming from US ports basically. So that is there. Plus we are buying good amount of LNG in spot from US sources. So that is going on, and that is as per commerce. Everything has to come from commercials. If my commercials are helping me, they are good for me. I am buying LNG, LPG, crude from any geography, any source. There is no restriction or there is no guidance from government, from ministry, from anybody that you have to go for A geography or A country or a B country or a B geography. That is not there.